Title: My parents gave my college fund to my brother, so I let them face the consequences. I'm 31F and my younger brother Ethan is 27. Growing up, everyone knew he was my parents' favorite, not in a subtle way either. When I got straight A's, my parents would say, "Well, that's expected." When Ethan barely passed classes, "He's just creative." When I got a part-time job at 16, it was because I needed responsibility. When Ethan crashed my dad's truck at 17. Boys make mistakes. You get the idea. But the biggest thing happened when I was 18. My grandparents had left both me and Ethan college funds, equal amounts, about $40,000 each. I found out 3 weeks before freshman year that my account was almost empty. At first, I thought there had been a mistake. Nope. My parents had quietly used most of my college fund to pay for Ethan's private high school after he got kicked out of public school without telling me. Their exact words were, "You got scholarships. Ethan needed the help more." I remember just sitting there stunned because they didn't even seem guilty. So instead of going to my dream college out of state, I stayed local, worked 2 jobs, took loans, and basically exhausted myself for 4 years. Meanwhile, Ethan dropped out of college after 1 semester because he wanted to become a content creator. Spoiler alert, that didn't happen. Fast forward 10 years. I'm married, financially stable, and own a house with my husband. Ethan still lives with my parents. No stable job, constant business ideas, always borrowing money. Then my parents announced they were retiring early. Cool. Except they had almost no savings left. Guess where the money went? Ethan. Car payments, credit card debt, investments, random failed startups. At first I stayed out of it, until one night my parents invited me over for dinner, and I immediately knew something was off. My mom kept talking about family supporting family. My dad kept asking about my salary. Then finally my mom says, "We were thinking maybe you could help us with the mortgage." I laughed because I genuinely thought she meant temporarily. Nope. They wanted me to take over all their monthly payments. Their argument? Well, Ethan can't afford to help. I actually said, "Interesting," because apparently he could afford my college fund. Silence. My dad got defensive immediately. That was years ago. My mom started crying. Then Ethan jumps in with, "You've always held that over everyone's head." That made me furious because I almost never talked about it. So I asked him one question. "Okay, name one major sacrifice you've made for this family." Nothing. Literally, silence. Then he says, "You've always been selfish." That word changed everything for me. Selfish. After I gave up my dream school, worked through college, paid my own loans, never asked them for money once. Meanwhile, this grown man was living in their basement playing Xbox at 27. I stood up, grabbed my coat, and before leaving I said, "You chose your retirement plan. Good luck with it." Then I left. For the next few weeks, my extended family started blowing up my phone. Apparently, my parents had told everyone I was abandoning them financially, but they conveniently forgot to mention the stolen college fund. So I posted the truth, not publicly, just in the family group chat, including screenshots, bank records, old emails, everything. And suddenly the narrative changed real fast. A few relatives actually apologized to me. One aunt said, "Wait, they took her money and gave it to Ethan?" Then came the part I still think is hilarious. My parents tried to pressure Ethan into finally getting a full-time job. He refused. Apparently working 40 hours a week was bad for his mental health. So my dad gave him an ultimatum. Get a job or move out. Ethan moved out. 3 weeks later, he came back because his girlfriend dumped him after realizing he had no income. At this point, my parents finally realized they had created the problem themselves. Meanwhile, my life kept getting better. Last year, my husband and I bought a larger home. And somehow that triggered another round of family drama. My mom called asking if Ethan could temporarily stay in our guest room. Absolutely not. Then she hit me with this. Families should help each other. I said, "You should have taught Ethan that years ago," and hung up. Here's the ending, though. A few months ago, my grandfather, the one who originally created the college funds, found out what happened before he passed away. I didn't even tell him. Another relative did. He was furious. Apparently, he rewrote part of his will after learning the truth. Last month, I inherited his lake house. Ethan inherited his watch collection. And before anyone says that's unfair, the watches were fake.